What we're doing is we're doing from Nursing 541, and we are taking action in trying to do a policy change. But our policy that we're trying to change and get it promoted is school lunch reform. And what we're doing, school lunch reform, specifically making a plant-based milk option available. And the summary of this issue and who it impacts, we're here to say having the parents expose children to a well-balanced diet is only half the battle, because children only spend half the time with their parents, and the other half of the time they're at school. And when it comes to lunch, sometimes the healthy option is just not available. And it's reported that children spend 35 to 47% of their daily caloric intake at school. And not having healthier eating patterns for a child can shape the rest of their life beyond what's the physical. Children and adolescents who are obese are more likely to be than normative samples of peers who have anxiety and/or depression, as well as lower competencies on social and appearance components, and overall lower self-worth than their peers. And the background of this issue, the research, evidence, and the data was conducted in a study that found correlations between obesity and developmental disorders, including autism. The Center for Disease Control, the CDC, reports that 11% of children in the United States aged between 4 and 17 years old have a diagnosis of ADHD. And the number is exponentially increasing from 7.8% in 2003 to 11% in 2011. And as nutrients in the foods decrease, behavioral and developmental disorders increase. Now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Ebony Bostic, and she's going to continue.
I am back. Sorry for the technical glitch. It's on me. So we as a group is it okay I talk, ladies?
Yes.
Okay. So we as a group deemed it appropriate for Sakina to present this suggestion to revise the North Carolina school lunch policy due to her family's choice of a vegan status, and she also has 3 school-age children that is associated with the targeted population that can be affected by and benefit from this school lunch policy reform. So Sakina, you have the floor right now.
Okay, so my name's Sakina Alston, and like my peers have stated, we're in class. We're Masters of Nursing students at ECPI University doing an assignment for Nursing 541, Taking Action. So there's an act right now. It's called. It was enacted by the 111th Congress, and it's called the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010, and this is the broader base of the policy that we want to reform. So the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010, portions of it state that they want to research the causes of childhood hunger, the consequences of childhood hunger, the insufficiency of program benefits or services, and the effects of childhood hunger on child development, well-being, and educational attainment. So some of the foods that are served, most of the foods that are served in most American schools are not nutrient dense, and so we want to scrutinize the food and make sure that first of all, that the foods are full of nutrients and not just full of fats that don't help developmental progress. And specifically, we want to take a look at the milk, because only cow's milk is served in most school lunches, especially in North Carolina, and that results in a program insufficiency, because vegan children who are lactose intolerant, and children who have milk allergies are not being served by these programs benefits. So specifically, there's a policy by the NC Department of Public Schools and Instruction, the School Nutrition Services Section 2015 to 2016 school year. The special milk program only has cow's milk available. So the proposed policy change we want to do is that we propose that a plant-based milk option of hemp seed milk would become available. So one alternative to this policy reform specifically is to do nothing. And if we do nothing, then vegan children, lactose intolerant children, and children with milk allergies will be underserved, and that will result, like I said, in program insufficiency. And children that are drinking cow's milk aren't necessarily getting all of the nutrients that can be available by drinking a milk product. So number 2 option is that we could change or provide, not eliminate cow's milk, but provide another plant-based milk option such as almond milk, soy milk, rice milk, or coconut milk. The cons to those alternatives are that those milks do not have the nutritional content that is equal to cow's milk. And under the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act, if you are going to provide a milk substitute, it has to have at least the same amount of nutritional benefits as cow's milk does have, and that can be hard to accomplish. So then the policy change that we want to implement is to have hemp seed milk available. And we chose hemp seed milk because it does have the nutritional requirements that cow's milk will provide, but it also provides those for children who cannot or choose not to drink cow's milk. Hemp seed milk is cost effective because of the outcomes that it will provide, and that is it's inclusive for everyone. So everyone will have a milk option as opposed to not having milk at all and just drinking like sugary drinks or drinks that don't have any nutritional value. And once they have these added nutrients to their diet, it should help their developmental progress and help them to ascertain that education that they're in school for in the first place. This also provides an opportunity for us to examine the results and the benefits of instituting more nutrients into the food that our children consume most of the time and most of their caloric intake comes from. So we could use what we learned from this policy reform to initiate other policy reforms when we start to look at not only the milk that the children are drinking, but also the foods that they're eating. Make more fruits and vegetables available. There are some farm-to-school programs that will aid on that. So this could be a pathway to just revising the entire school lunch, but we can just start with the milk for now. So other advantages of the change are that studies have shown that when schools provide more healthy foods, more core foods, more nutrient-dense foods, that children do consume more of those foods. When we have better nutrients, our brain development improves and our cognitive ability improves, and studies have shown that. So one study showed that the percentage of high-calorie, low-nutrition foods sold decreased from 22% of all sales in 2005 to 0% in 2011. High-calorie snack purchases decreased from 535 items to 0 items. The sale of fresh fruits increased by 12%. There was only a slight decline in the percentage of children who purchased cafeteria lunches over the years, and a 15.2% cost increase for purchasing healthier food supplies. So, like I said, it's cost effective. The price goes up, but more children are eating healthier foods, and it does not result in a reduction of the amount of children that actually eat lunch. So elementary school children purchased the healthier lunches when healthier menu items were offered and when less healthy foods were eliminated from the menu, and there was no significant decline in the number of students who purchased lunches as nutritional improvements were made. So that's very important. Disadvantages of the change. As a group, we brainstormed, and the only thing that we can come up with is that providing hemp seed milk costs more money. And to give you some figures on how much more money, well, hemp seed milk costs in a range from 11.4 cents per fluid ounce to 9.26 cents per fluid ounce. And that was the cheapest we could find, and that was at Walmart. And there probably are some cheaper options available if you can get linked directly with the manufacturer of the milk. Cow's milk costs 2.6 cents per fluid ounce. That's the Walmart brand. So hemp milk is approximately 4 times the price of cow's milk. However, not everyone needs or wants hemp milk, so we have to think that this is not a 4-time cost increase overall, because it's just a small target group that was in this hemp seed milk option. So how would we evaluate the change? So one way we would evaluate the change is to see if more students are drinking milk. So we would have to look at the target population and who are not participating and who are not drinking any kind of milk right now for one of the 3 reasons, whether they're vegan, have a milk allergy, or they're lactose intolerant. And we would see if, once we provide a hemp seed milk option, if those children now are actually consuming some milk and how much they're consuming. And if they do start to drink some milk, then this program is successful, because then they are being served as opposed to being underserved and not getting any benefits from the Hunger-Free Healthy Kids Act of 2010. So if they can receive a benefit, then our program and policy reform is successful. So that's how we would evaluate it. So there was a study of an elementary school, one elementary school that did a lunch reform. Sales data were collected for 1 week in each of 7 years in a district serving predominantly poor, rural, and Caucasian student population with high rates of obesity. Post-data analysis described lunch sales patterns and related food service costs over the project years. So in order to evaluate a lunch reform, we need a significant amount of time. You can't see if somebody's nutritional benefits or their cognition or behavioral problems have gotten better if we only do a short amount of time. So we would have to collect data over several years. We propose 5 years for our program, just to see if it's working or not. So who supports this policy? So we definitely have the 111th Congress who support the Hunger-Free Healthy Kids Act. And we also found there's a group called Action for Healthy Kids. They have a website, and they raise money for initiatives that help to keep children healthy. So our policy reform, the mission of our policy reform aligns right up with the mission of Action for Healthy Kids. So we believe they would be stakeholders. And currently they have $1.6 million available for the school year of 2016 to 2017, and they have grant applications available. So we want their support, because our mission needs funding, and they have it available. And we have a common interest. And that basically sums up the reform that we want to make and why we want to. That doesn't sum it up, that describes it. And I'm going to hand you over to Dominica Rocho, and she will summarize.
Thank you, Sakina. So in conclusion, we just want to reiterate that while health concerns and a well-balanced diet obviously start in the home. They do not stay or are maintained there. They need to be maintained further once the child gets into school, because like Sakina's youngest son, they are in preschool and they spend more than half their time in school. So a school lunch reform and a reform of that aspect is greatly needed. And for us, we found that finding a alternative to cow milk, which would be the hip milk, would be one of the best alternatives, because it now gives an option for children that come from families that have a vegan preference, or for children that have some kind of deficiency, or to prevent further comorbidities. The hemp milk will provide additional micronutrients, which will further help provide a balanced diet for the child and prevent future comorbidities into the later adulthood, or even as a child, such as childhood diabetes or childhood obesity. In reference to funding, we found two proprietors or stakeholders that would be great options for soliciting fundings, as they also see the importance of a healthy diet while in school. So that will be the conclusion of our assignment for Unit 3. Thank you.
Thank you.